Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. I hope you're praying your salahs as well as looking to the Quran and Hadith for guidance in your everyday life. If you're watching this video in its salah time, please pause it and go pray, and come back when you're done. Please check out the description section of this video to support the channel. I was sent a very recent episode of the Fresh and Fit podcast hosted by Sudanese Muslim Myron with two other Muslim guests, Sneako and N3ON. What really stood out to me was the difference between Sneako in comparison to Myron and N3ON in terms of their Islamic outlook. Sneako was the moral voice of reason for both Myron and N3ON, and that is because Sneako has been implementing Islam into his daily life, whereas Myron and N3ON haven't, and only state that they are Muslim by title, but don't really show any signs of practice or knowledge about the religion. Sneako, however, has been putting his Islamic journey proudly and publicly online. He has recently went on Umrah, he's been doing dawah on the streets, he's done podcast episodes with Ustad Abu Tamaya and Sheikh Uthman. All of this shone through when he was sitting in the company of Myron and N3ON. Both N3ON and Myron are lifelong Muslims, whereas Sneako is a recent revert. I don't think it's even been a year since he converted. But it really goes to show if one is not actively gaining knowledge and practicing Islam on a daily basis, then it's inevitable that they will go far away from the deen. Myron seems much more influenced by the manosphere than he is by Islam, and as you'll see in the clip to follow, that made him say some things that were contrary to Islam in terms of letting his future daughters marry men who do haram zina content. Astaghfirullah. Sneako's Islamic reaction to this made Myron realise that his view was the wrong one. N3ON, who is caught up in the streamer world, where the outlook of most of these people is an atheist one, was also lost when Sneako questioned him on his morality, until Sneako reminded him that as Muslims, our ultimate moral guide is the Quran. The most surprising part of the clip to follow was that despite Myron and N3ON being lifelong Muslims and knowing each other for a while, they just discovered each other were Muslim on this podcast. This is a clear sign that these two brothers are not practicing Islam in their everyday lives, because as Muslims we recognise each other immediately from how we greet each other, from the words we use and the actions we take, namely praying salah 5 times a day. I was proud of brother Sneako for how he represented Islam, and I pray that brothers Myron and N3ON begin to practice the faith they are so privileged to have been born into. Let's roll the clip.
As a Muslim,
would I let my daughter go out with a male star if he was...
Whoa, you're really thinking about... Really?
If it was my son, he wanted to get with a female creator, I would say, no, you ain't doing that. As long as he treats my daughter well and takes care of her, cool.
What if he's a practicing... Sorry.
I prefer that he's not
if he's
still.
a current... So you would let your daughter marry him?
If she has the title and he wants to be with her and she loves him, his past doesn't mean to me.
No, not past.
But
present and future. Current.
Niggas are going to do it anyway, maybe just not on camera.
That's a take I never thought you would have.
I don't care what anyone says. I just care what I say, and I think what I think, and it is what it is.
You said you don't care. You just think what you think. You don't take other people's advice. Where do you base what's right and what's wrong? Where does that come from? How do you know what's right and wrong?
I think I have pretty good morals.
But I'm asking, where does that come from?
My brain.
But how do you know? How do you verify whether your brain is right?
I just live life, you know?
I just thought about this. I'm rethinking my position. You can't pass Islam through the woman. It's got to be through the man.
Yeah.
And if he's doing active, nah, she can't marry him.
That's what I'm saying.
Never mind.
Because it goes God, man, woman.
Yeah.
And if the guy's an active porn star, then he's not going to be able to be...
because he can't... Because if the man's Muslim, he'll pass it on. But if the woman's Muslim, it don't matter. So, you know, Judaism is the other way around.
You're Muslim?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, bro.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum,
Yeah,
man.
Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum salam,
Where
bro.
do you think all these talking points come from?
I'm not the most religious guy, but
crazy.
then I just thought about this. Yeah, dude, my daughter wouldn't... If he's a porn star, he's obviously not
She's
Muslim.
gonna
That would not continue. Then no. I just rethought it.
She does as her husband does.
Yeah. Because I literally was thinking in my head, like, wait, no, he can't pass it on. He would have to convert for her, and that wouldn't make sense. He ain't gonna convert.
And that's where Red Pill always goes back to. Like, I mean, I know you guys make fun of this stuff. It always comes back to God. This is necessary because we're in a godless society. I'm asking because you started off the podcast saying that you're religious, you're Muslim, and then you're saying your morality just comes from your head. I think most Muslims would say that.
How can you say you think I'm a bad Muslim?
I don't think you're a bad Muslim.
We're both shitty. Like,
I'm trying to figure out where your philosophy comes from, because I would say that like I trace everything right from wrong. The best guidance is probably the Quran. Like if you're just gonna say that you make it up floating around and you just do whatever it's in your head, that's an atheist point of view.
How?
That's what atheists do. They don't judge anything based off of any sort of morality. They're just like, if I feel like doing it,
I judge it off my morality and what I think is right.
How do you know if your brain is right or wrong? Because humans are imperfect. We always make mistakes.
You're right.
I thought that you were going to say that right from wrong goes back to the Quran.
Who's a better Muslim, me or Sneako?
That's not what I'm talking about. But you see how Myron just traced it back to the Quran?
Yeah,
too?
I literally that's what I was like, wait, no, hold on.
Should always have to go back to Islam to some way, or to go back to faith.
A female can't get with a Catholic man and get past. It doesn't work. Now, here's the thing. If he did porn and then he convert and then he stopped and he was a Muslim, then I'd be okay with it. But if it wasn't, then nah.
Trying to say Sneako, by the way.
I'm not trying to like one up you based on that at all.
I think Myron's initial reaction to letting his potential future daughter marry a man who performs zina for a living was from his manosphere conditioning. For a Muslim, Islam should come before any other philosophy. Islam caters to men better than any other faith or philosophy does, and definitely minus the degeneracy of the manosphere. In the full interview, Myron initially stated that he would not allow his son to marry such a promiscuous woman, which I agree with. But because of his red pill conditioning, he initially said he would allow his daughter to marry a male adult content performer, until Sneako checked him on this respectfully. Myron then changed his mind when the penny dropped, and said if the man in question converted to Islam and repented, he would be okay with it, which is fair enough. But it really seems like Myron needs Islam to guide him to higher moral standards, because if he was on his deen, he would not have even considered that initial red pill stance. I personally feel if Myron was to have a daughter, he would think very differently. Maybe in time we will see that change, inshallah. The Prophet ﷺ stated, raising 2 girls properly will lead you to paradise. The Prophet ﷺ also said, whoever has 3 daughters and is patient towards them and feeds them, gives them to drink and clothes them from his wealth, they will be a shield for him from the fire on the day of resurrection. N3ON is a young man that seems very lost in the world of newfound internet fame and clout. He doesn't seem like a bad person and is definitely smart enough to make himself very successful in his niche. But like Myron, he is very public about having haram relationships with women who engage in online nudity, and that are not women of the book. I think if these brothers surround themselves with practicing Muslims, gain more knowledge on Islam, and at the very least pray their salahs, they would be very prosperous, especially since they have such large followings. However, the question is, do they value the dunya more than the deen? And will their urges to engage in haram be overcome by them knowing in their heart of hearts that they should be engaging only in halal actions? Once again, credit to Brother Sneako for keeping his stance Islamic. And we must all remember that the best type of dawah to non-Muslims and our brothers and sisters who are straying away from the deen is through how we carry ourselves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all to the righteous path. Please like, comment, share, subscribe and turn on notifications, as I'll be posting new content daily. And until next time, inshallah, Jazakallah khair.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah